The philosophy is that you must first try to make the student engage, like to make the student understand what they're doing this for.
Alright guys, welcome to our third episode of the Parent Teacher Podcast. Again,
Hi.
for those of you who are new, this podcast is basically Mr. Gary Ang right here. Say hello.
Hi. Yes, hi.
So Mr. Gary Ang right here is teacher for the past 22 years, right?
Oh.
Having taught thousands of students around Singapore, and also the founder of NumberSkill Learning Centre, and most importantly, he's also a parent of a secondary school student,
And
right?
a primary school boy, yes.
Yes, and a primary school boy. So hence the title, the Parent Teacher Podcast, where Gary shares his experience as an educator as well as a parent, and how he's weaving these two to ensure that his children are getting the best educational support, right? So just like the previous episode, as you for our viewers who are more sharp-eyed, you'll realize that we're wearing the same clothes. That's because we're actually filming multiple episodes in the day, right? I think with WAs coming in, tests coming in, we are quite busy, right, Gary?
Yes. It's hardly able to find time to do this kind of sharing session, yes.
Yeah, so we are trying our best to try to deliver impactful episode, combining every single thing into one. If you guys like it, please do remember to like and comment down below. All right, so just like the previous episode, we're going to do it in more of a Q&A, because there are parents who actually sent us a couple of questions, which we found to be, very valuable, right? So without further ado, let's get started. So Gary, the first question for you from a parent, what's the difference between students who score A1 versus others don't?
Okay. This is a very interesting question, okay? But from what I observed, right, usually it boils down to a very simple thing. Learning attitude. That's one. Okay, learning attitude must be there. So like I always tell the parents, or tell my students as well, you can be very smart, but if your learning attitude is not there, you won't do as well. Similarly, you may not be that smart, like smartly tuned to math, but your learning attitude is very good and you're hardworking, you will still get your A1. Yeah, so I think number one is learning attitude. That one you really need to cultivate. Number two, I would say, is determination. Because there are students who give up at first time of, I got it wrong, I cannot. But there are students who persevere, they went on, they did it. And there are a lot of stories of students whereby, they didn't do so well, but by sheer determination, they get their A1 eventually. Yeah, so if you ask me, the quick answer for this will be, just these two very important points. But of course, there's also the guidance. So you have a proper guidance, you can learn it more efficiently. So it's like learning a language, because nowadays, you got YouTube, you got all the apps, you can learn language, no problem. Everybody can be a professor or something by YouTube. But if you have someone guiding you, someone with experience, and someone who knows the thing well to guide you, you learn better, faster, and therefore you can get your A1 a lot easier compared to other people.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. So adding my point as well, because I also speak to quite a number of parents here. I think one key difference is also ensuring that the student has a feedback loop. So feedback loop in a sense where the student can't be afraid to ask questions if they have, right? Over here, we do allow them to text either you or Eileen, right? Questions whenever they have, then this way they can get more personalized answers, right? So of course, this is something that we encourage every student to do. If you don't know, just voice out.
That's very true. That's very true. Especially in class, you don't want to sit through the whole class and then just to raise your hand at the end of the class, Mr. Ang, I don't understand anything from the first minute. I was like, yeah. So sound out. Yes, that's very important, because then we know how to help.
Yes, correct. So moving on to the second question, I think this question is particularly important. Is why do some students instantly get it while other students study twice as hard and still struggle? Basically, why do some students have the aha moment quicker?
Okay. Now, of course, it will be too much of a sweeping statement to say that some people are born with it, right? I don't fully believe in that. But of course, I will say that I saw students like that before. It boils down to concept as well as their foundation. Because if you train the student from young, in the sense that you train them well by trying to understand concepts around certain things that they do, certain things and therefore they approach the learning in a different angle, you see. They understand it like, okay, so that's how it works, or therefore it can apply. So they get to the solving of the problem quicker. Whereas if you have another student who are brought up in a way that, this is how you do it, you practice, and without fully understanding, I just know how to do the math. They really can do the math, but they can, because they didn't learn to fully understand it. So in that kind of situation, then when you teach them something a bit harder, they may not get it that quickly, because hey, wait, hold on, I can do the algebra, all this I can do, but I can't solve the question like this fella who can. So yeah, that will be what I would see the main difference is the learning approach.
Okay. So, this question particularly interesting, right? The question is, can you share your most dramatic turnaround story of a student? So I know we have a lot, right? Students do come to us telling us that, wow, Mr. Ang, I never scored or B before, but this exam I scored A2, right? Or even parents, one of the parents, I remember he said that thanks to your golden touch, that his son scored A, right? But I believe, I mean, out of everything, what is the one particular turnaround story that is the most impactful for you?
Okay. Yes, yes. Like you say, over the years, there are quite a lot of all these stories. And in fact, I can't keep track of so many. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Some of it I think I shared with you before, but I forgotten about the Golden Park result. But that if you ask me for one most dramatic one, yes, definitely. I think they has to belong to many years ago. One of this student I had, he came to me because of his good friend in school. I shall not name the school, but yeah, he came to me because his friend was scoring A1 for his MIR exam, and it's a pretty tough school in Singapore. It's quite a tough school to score A for A math. So his good friend scored A, but he himself, this called student A. Okay, this student A, he was so bad at mid-year. He got F9. Okay, and if I don't remember wrongly, it was single digit. Single digit. I was like, how can anyone go for A math exam at Sec 4 mid-year exam during the time still got MIR exam and score single digit? I was like, obviously this fella is not interested. I was like, I mean, okay, fair enough. So he brought him here, student A here. So then he came in. I was shocked. It was really that bad. So I look at it. He didn't know a lot of things from Sec 3, and I really have to start from scratch. But I can sense his determination. So he was determined. He said, Mr. Ang, I need to do well. I think I'll try my best, of course, but now it's Sec 4 and it's mere exam, just how many months I have to work with you, like this O level is like in a couple of months. So I worked really hard with him. He was determined, number one. He was hardworking, and he has to be a bit of smart. I mean, we have to be honest here, right? He has to be a bit of smart. So with these three ingredients and plus me helping him, so I think that one is something he is very grateful for. So I help him. I literally help him. I say, well, you know what? You come join my Sec 3 class, and he joined my Sec. You come join my whatever class I have, and I see a gap. I feel like you don't know this. Okay, my Sec 2 doing factorization. I think you are not so good at it. You come, and he really put in the time and the effort, and he's serious. He's determined. He's not shy about joining a Sec 2 class when it's Sec 4, and he got A2 at the end. Of course, his prelim didn't do well as well, so we were all stressed. Okay, but then again, prelim is always quite hard. Well, we didn't expect it, but he got better than F9 during prelim. But his parents was very trust me a lot. So I spoke with the parents, and the parents say, Mr. Ang, you please do whatever you can. So I said, yes, I will. So they trusted me a lot, and I was grateful for that, because literally they leave their son to me. So I said, you just have to listen to me. So, and the parents trusted me. I never questioned me, never how my strategy, So at the end he got it. So he was so happy, and he managed to go to a school that he liked. And just a couple of months ago, he came back and visit me after he came back from Australia with his fiance. So he came in after my class on Sunday, and chit chat for a while. We didn't take a selfie again. I always take a selfie with my past students. Yeah. So yeah. So that's if you ask me, the most dramatic, that will be him.
Yeah, I mean, well, F9, single digits or more, to A2 in like less than a year. I mean, half a year actually.
Okay, hold on. Disclaimer here. I mean, I tell this story to a lot of my students is to inspire them, and to inspire them the fact that determination, right, as well as the kind of determination and hard work, right, it is what you need for many of them. Right? It doesn't mean that I can do this magic to every single one. So I think we have to put a disclaimer there. I'm not a magician here, but if you work with me, yeah, we can create magic together.
Yes, for sure. All right. So the next question is, what brain shift happens when a struggling student suddenly starts seeing math?
Okay, when they start acing their math test, I see the kind of shift they have. Number one is their attitude towards math, for sure. Because
you see attitude change, is it?
Yeah, the attitude will change, because it's from someone like totally I don't like math, I dread doing math, But the moment they start to score A1, right, and then go like, hey, because they start to see the effort pay off. And I always tell my students that math is one of the easiest subjects to see your result. You reap what you sow very quickly. It's unlike some subjects that are much harder to score. For example, like English or Chinese, it takes a very long time, because you need to build your basic very long, take very long to build it before you can see any result. So for math, to a certain extent, you put in a lot of hard work, right, for this chapter. You start that you see this chapter you can do quite well. And when they start to do well, the mindset shift from them being a failure failure in math to someone, hey, actually I can do it. And when they feel that they can do it, they will like to do more, and they'll be more serious for the next chapter, and they'll put in the same effort in the next chapter, and it sort of snowball in a positive way. Yeah, and I see that in a lot of students. But they must get past the first A1, and that's when the magic really starts. And parents always ask me, like, Mr. How do I make them motivated? How do I, yeah, it's not easy. But once they get past their first A1, the motivation comes automatically. I always tell the parent, just watch, okay? But we need to first get there, and then just watch. They will be motivated, and they will be very serious.
I feel adding to that point, right? I think showing them that they're improving is something that's also very important, because especially for students who always believe that, wow, I cannot do math, math is not my thing, I want to drop math. But if you show them that they are slowly improving, right? Incremental improvements, you have to show them, right? I think eventually, I mean, we do see a pattern, right? Eventually their false beliefs actually starts breaking, right? Then they realize, hey, actually, I'm improving it. Then that's where the motivation comes from.
That's right. Is this kind of motivation is the best. It comes from inside. It's better than yes, it's better than some of those motivation coach or something. Yeah, wow, very motivated for 1 week. Then after that, the time punching again. So yes, I mean, but this is something that need to work hard for.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, so I think the next question you can relate lah. What do parents? What the parents of a most successful students do differently at home?
Yeah. Okay. Successful student. Okay. Now this one also can be quite subjective in the sense like what the parents. First of all, I think parents have to be very supportive of the students, and at the same time, parents need to understand the kind of difficulty that the students are facing. For example, when they are in Sec 1, they have a Sec 1 problem. When they're in Sec 3, they have a Sec 3 issue. Like suddenly they have a lot of math, and the math is not easy. So the parents need to understand that, and the parents should also understand that 1WA doesn't define their actual ability, like we discussed before, and that is WA nowadays are actually very harsh because of the marks that they carry. So it can be so harsh, and you don't want to totally break the student's confidence. So if you ask me what kind of parents is behind a successful student, I would see that the parent playing a very supportive role. Of course, if the parent can support the child academically, that is even better. But then again, I also saw some cases where parents are actually able to help them with their math, but it actually backfire very badly. Because the parents say, it's not very easy. What a simple comment like that, you break a very fragile the child's ego and the child's confidence. So yeah, I think yes, if you ask me, that I will feel that the parents do play a big role in having in being helping the child being successful academically.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, so the next question, I think this is a parent who wants to know more about teaching method. So your teaching method is called purposeful math. For those who don't know, in a nutshell, basically Gary and the teachers at NumberSkill, they use real life examples to teach students math so that they can absorb and retain the knowledge much longer, right? Is to spark new interest in them, right? So the parent, one of the parents is asking, how does your purposeful math approach trigger those light bulb moments that other methods don't?
Okay, now the light bulb moments usually refers to the point whereby they actually realize what they learn here is actually something that can apply. So it can be as simple as some of those application questions, that it's like, oh, that's how I use it, that kind of thing. But if you ask me, yes, definitely, because my philosophy, and therefore how I train my tutors as well. The philosophy is that you must first try to make the student engage, like to make the student understand what they're doing this for. Now, but then again, to be fair, not every single topic in math, especially lower secondary, not every single topic there is going to be a real life application, right? A lot of times, almost every week, I get this same question, Mr. When are we going to use this in our real life? They ask me this kind of question, and sometimes it's hard to explain to them because to be fair, like expansion and factorization of algebra. Why do I need algebra in life next time? I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be a pilot, or why do I need this? And that's a very good question from a very young kid, and we should not just answer them you're too young to understand. So we try to make it understandable for them. Like look, these are things like your letters and in the alphabet. So you have to first learn the A to Z. You have to learn the grammar rules before you can create something beautiful like poems, right? I mean, you cannot say, I just want to be a poet, and without learning your A to Z. So I make them understand that, look, whatever that we're doing here may not be completely applicable in real life, really. And I'll be frank with you, you. But the truth is that these are like your vocabulary for doing other things in math that will do in higher level that will help you. So when they start to see, oh yeah, that's how this part of math built into this part, and that's how I can solve an application question that is answering a real life question now. That's when they have the light bulb. And this idea of making the kid understand what they are doing in class has value and has a place in their future. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. So there are some examples they used to share with me last time, right? Like how MRI machines actually use calculus to deliver the images, right? So for our listeners, maybe you can share maybe one more example that is actually quite interesting that people don't really know.
Okay. It's just straight off my head right now because now I'm in the topic of probability. So probabilities is a topic whereby it is very useful in real life in almost everyday life. I mean, we don't just want to talk about games like gambling problems or lottery problem. I mean, we can talk about insurance, right? Probabilities all over the place, as well as just simply like changing of light bulbs. For example, recently we went through one question whereby we're comparing light bulbs. So like light bulbs with average lifespan that is lower than light bulb B, which has a longer lifespan. But because of the standard deviation being smaller, and therefore they will all spoil at the same time, right? Because they won't be so wide ranging. So then it becomes easier to maintain, especially if we are talking about street lamps or something. So the example they point out, like MRI machine, is a very glamorous kind of example. But then again, it is to let them understand that this thing that we learn, being able to figure out the area under the curve, we can extend this to being able to figure out the contours when the radio wave or magnetic wave come back, that kind of idea. And of course, like things like even F1 racing, nowadays not so much, but back in the days whereby they have to do refueling of the tank, they literally need to calculate how heavy the car is, will affect the tire wear, and therefore how many pit stop strategies, and all these are calculus, hardcore calculus. They at least they will seem to understand that, wow, okay, there's some use in it, you see. And even our GPS, our Google Maps, we just take out our phone, mindlessly use our map to get to our destination without thinking that at the back of it, this is trigonometry. You see, it's just a very simple trigonometry, but we have satellites all over. So yeah, these are the moments when, if I can make them see that usefulness of what they are learning, but then they also feel that whatever that they're learning is just on the surface. And I tell them that is why your exam question is not like solving a world problem,
Yeah. I mean, this is why I would say a lot of our students do feedback and say that the lessons are interesting. They never saw math in this light form.
I mean, it's useful. It's useful to keep their attention. I mean, besides the idea of us trying to keep our lecture short, like 10-minute lecture, and then they do hands-on 10-minute lecture, and then do hands-on. We try to do that because imagine I keep on nagging over some math for 1 hour. I think half of them going to be fall asleep. But that's what happens in school sometimes. So the idea is we have to engage them, make them be interested, and I think that is a very important thing for them to also find purpose in what they are doing.
Right. So we do have one fantastic question. Basically, it's what's the invisible wall blocking most Singapore students from reaching their math potential?
Wow, invisible wall. Invisible wall to hit their math potential. Like cannot see. So if it's invisible, we just have to try our best to identify that there's a wall, right?
So basically, what's stopping them?
Yeah, what's stopping them? Okay, so there can be quite a number of factors. Students, to be fair, I like to believe that students, when they go to, for example, like when they go to Sec 1, they don't automatically hate math 1. I think they are quite excited. Most students are quite excited when we go to a new school, new friends, new subjects, and I would believe that they are usually more excited than be oh no, I hate math. I hope not lah. I hope not. But what happened from that kind of excitement that you see in the young minds, and suddenly to the point that I hate math. Yeah. So and then how to overcome that? I would say that a lot has to do with their confidence, definitely, because they can be put down by their result. They can be put down by sometimes people around them. And when I say people around them, it could be peers, it could be even teachers. You'd be surprised. And like I said the worst is from their parents. So they will have this kind of invisible wall that I'm always not good enough, no matter how I try. So to overcome that, they need their confidence. But with confidence, super good confidence doesn't mean you can do well also. Yeah, I think we also mustn't forget that we need guardian. The kind of guidance that they have. And sad to say, good to know. And that's sometimes the very interested students don't get from school. They are interested, they ask a lot of questions, but they don't get their curiosity satisfied. Worse, they were told not to ask so much question. And then they sort of become less interested because after all I ask also cannot, that kind of thing. And they don't get interested anymore, and that's where you see the spiral. So I believe confidence, and I also believe guidance. You need to have proper guidance, and then that's how they can really overcome this invisible wall. And like I said, once we overrun the first wall, things can become automatic, and that's when we start to see the magic happen.
Okay, so a parent is asking, I think this is a very interesting question. What's the simple 5-minute routine that separates your top performers from everyone?
Okay, now this one has many answers for many different subjects also. Okay, see, some people they like this idea called mind map, which is not a bad idea. I honestly think it's not a bad idea, but I believe that mind map should be coming from the students. So the students should come up with their own mind map, and then they check with me, see whether they're missing something. It doesn't make sense for me to be drawing my mind map and then ask them to copy, because they won't be thinking like me, right? And I'm just making them to memorize one more thing. So I think mind map, I mean, I can be guiding them, like how to map this to another thing. Yeah, but I think mind map. But then again, mind map is not the silver bullet here. But that's just one of the factors that I think we can. Because in math, we're talking about connections from Sec 1 all the way to Sec 4. And if you're talking about A level, it's all the way from Sec 1 all the way to A level. It's a total 6 years of math. And if you want to drag in even further, you can even go all the way to primary school math. So your map has to be super big, which doesn't make sense. So at some point, my map will not work for some topic. So then, of course, if you ask me, then that would be, I would say, a routine of consolidating your learning by writing your own notes is a good start. Yeah, writing your own notes, like what you learned today, what you learned in this chapter. Practice a lot because math, after all, is not like a humanities subjects that you memorize by copying the passage 10 times or whatever. So you don't really study the same way. So I would say, if it's a tip for the parents or students who are listening to this, that will be this. After you learn the chapter, you practice, review questions. Just keep doing, whether you get an assessment book to do the same topic all on your own, or you get your teachers to give you worksheets to do. Just practice to make sure that you really can I wouldn't say regurgitate, but reproduce the solution about on a different question, and then by yourself. That's the main thing, by yourself. And if you get it wrong, must make sure you find out what you read, and then you make a mark. You make a note. Don't just throw this away. File them all together. When the exam comes, you look through it. That is like your cheat code, because that is when you shortcut your revision, because you actually revised already, and you know you made a mistake last time, and you know what went wrong. That sort of shortcut your revision faster.
That's a good tip. So moving on to the next question. So from your experience, right, how do top students approach a new math question compared to the others?
Okay, now top students math being taught, they must have a certain degree of determination. Must have determination. I've seen before in my class, there are students who, wait, I got it wrong. Let me try again. Wait, let me do it. Mr. Don't teach me. Let me do it. And there will be students who at first look at it, they read the question, and Mr. I can't do. I really can't do. So what do you do? Nothing. Then how do you know I can't do? I just can't do. You get what I mean? So yes, if you ask me, what is the difference of how they approach the question? Determination, right? The attitude towards the question. Because then again, also their training. You see, students who've been with me for long enough, they've been trained to approach a question in this particular approach. Like, read the question carefully, break it down, see what are the hints you have. Most important, what are you trying to do? Okay? Try to do whatever you can, you try it. If you don't have a strategy, if you don't know what to do, you just try whatever that you know is 100% correct. Like for example, okay, I don't know what to do, but I know that I can't go wrong with this step. Just do it, because you never know what leads to the other step. But of course, the best is you know what to do, right? You read a question and you know exactly what to do. I know this is a step 1. I'm going to do this first. I'm going to do that first. Of course, that's the best scenario I wish for everybody, every student. But there will be times, and there will be, even for the best students, because there will be always a surprise question that you can't prepare for, no matter how much you prepare. So then you need to keep calm. So I told my students step by step, hello. First step, keep calm. Read carefully what you're trying to do. What are you trying to find? What is the job you're trying to do? Then you still clueless. Then how? You don't know what to do. You leave blank. It's guaranteed 0. So you anyhow do. You do something, but don't write rubbish. You just write something that is correct, but you don't know why you're doing it, but you know it's mathematically correct. You write down. For all you know, that will lead you to the next step, and then the next step. And out of the 3 marks, you may not know how to do, but you get 2. Not bad for something you can't do. So it's the training that I train my students student to how they see a question if they get stuck versus someone who see a question that they stuck, they skip. Yeah. So if you ask me, I would say it's a lot of training.
Okay, so moving on, we're down to our last three questions lah.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so what's the psychological breakthrough that happens when students start connecting math to things that they actually care about?
Okay, now when they can connect math to anything in real life, they usually will see math a bit more differently.
Yeah.
A bit more differently in the sense that they won't feel like this is a waste of their time. And a very good example will be my own daughter, really. Yeah, my own daughter will come to me and say, "Daddy, what's this for? Math is just, I totally don't know." I mean, I say, please don't be like that. I'm trying so hard to motivate all my students to like math, and why my own daughter? Yeah, but one day when she start to see that, oh, that's how you use it. I see. Okay. Yeah, and that's when she can get a bit more interested. So sometimes I remember there was one episode when I was helping her with one of those questions, and I said, oh my god, this is like very tough. I mean, very tough questions she can't do. She come to me. So otherwise she will keep trying, which I train her to just keep trying. Okay, and really don't know it. So that question was quite hard. So I sat down with her. I said, but I have a way to solve it. Come, let's see. We check our answer, see whether our answer correct or not, right? Because we need to check answer. And during that time, there's no ChatGPT yet. But anyway, we don't trust so much of AI to do math now. Anyway, so I sat down with her. I said, look, let's open this Excel. Okay. So we put in say, look, this is what we're trying to find, right? And we're trying to check our answers, right? So I put in this part, you put the formula, so put in the formula. So I show you a bit, and then I just drag down, and she was like, oh my god, that's so cool. I was like, yeah, but that's why you learn your math, your algebra, and that's how you can form formula, and then put in the formula, and there's a bit of programming also, So I was trying so hard to get her to be interested in coding, but like all parents, right? I mean, but yeah, anyway, so that's just an example. Like when they can relate things to something that they can see and all, their mindset will have a shift. And when the mindset shift, that's our golden moment to catch them actually, but this is just one aspect of math. Come on, there are a lot more, like come on, let me try to make you more interested. Yeah.
Well, that's a good sharing. Okay, we're down to our second last question. So what math habits actually harm students' long-term success that parents encourage? Do you remember any? Do you see any problems when parents share?
Yes. Okay. Sometimes all the good intention may turn out with bad result. Really, just a simple one, right? Parents may buy a lot of assessment book for the kid too. So the kid may be doing 20 questions of the same kind, and it doesn't value add. Because it's doing the same thing. Right? We keep doing the same thing, right? I mean, yes, drilling is important, but we're not talking about primary school drilling anymore. Right? Primary school drilling, you need to drill the kid like timetable. They need to memorize. You have to keep testing them. What is 8 times 8 today, or what is 9 times 8 tomorrow? That kind of thing. So, but when it comes to secondary school, at some point, this drilling, I'm not saying drilling is not weak, but there'll be this diminishing return that we start to see. And worse, it backfires. It backfires because the student become bored. My mommy asked me to do 20 questions. I do, but I just have to do. But to them, it's just doing math. Nothing value add. They can do. Of course, it helps them do fast in the exam. They factorize very fast and all. Of course, it helps. But like I told you, at some point, the returns is not going to be worth the time, and they feel that they're wasting their time, and that's when their interest drop. And to make things worse, sometimes they may be practicing doing the wrong thing. I mean, there are different approach and different style to do some question. And some teachers in school will teach you this method, only one method. And then if you only learn this one method, you don't get to expose to other method. And then you practice the same thing using this one method. I won't say it's the wrong method, but you're not practicing the best method around. So then it becomes so ingrained in you. It then becomes very hard to change later. I've seen quite a few students like that. So sometimes I'm quite happy, a certain topic, I say, oh, you haven't learned in school. That's great. Let me teach you first before I have to uninstall and then reinstall again, that kind of thing. So yes, it will be quite detrimental if they keep practicing. They thought that practicing is very good, which is true. But if you practice doing the wrong thing, then I think it doesn't help.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point drilling and practicing on the wrong thing, right?
Yeah, and keep doing the wrong thing very well.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the last question. So a parent is saying, oh, my son actually hate math. So how do you transform a student who always hates math into a student who can't stop talking about?
I think this is a question, a $1,000,000 question, that if I can help every parent overcome, not just for math or every subject, then I think I can retire very early. But of course, like you see, I am a daddy myself. I also trying very hard to motivate my daughter, my son, to like what they are doing in school. I mean, not just math, but of course, I have a particular requirement for them and say, hey, you better like math. But okay. Anyway, so the point is every parent is trying very hard. Now, I'm not going to claim that I am successful yet because my girl still have a long way to go before her exams, her major exams. So my son is even younger. So I wouldn't claim that I'm completely successful. But if I were to share my 2 cents, I would say definitely encourage them. Okay, don't let them feel that they are not good enough. I think that is very important for confidence. I told my students, I treat my students like my kid anyway. I told my students, look, you may not do well this time. The result doesn't define you. It's okay. Let's just try again. But most important, we must find out what's wrong. And then we work on that. We work together. So it's a partnership. So the parent must also have this kind of very strong support at home to let them know that the parents have their back. The parents will help them. Yeah. And whether it can help them academically or not doesn't matter. But the parents are there to hear them out. I think that's one very important thing. Then the other thing is, of course, we encourage them for their confidence. We guide them because sometimes the students are quite helpless. They are determined. They don't get the kind of support they have because maybe the schools is the teacher may not be able to have the kind of chemistry with them, so they don't learn much from school. And to make things worse, sometimes schools may have some logistic issue. They change teacher here and there, and then the student can be 100% on, but it's just not matching up. So on that note, the parent have to look out for ways to find out. Like I said, the support must be there. Then the parent would know what problem the kid needs, and then if the parent sense that, hey, my kid working very hard, because I have so many parents come to me and tell me the same thing. He's very hardworking, but he's not doing very well. So say hardworking which way right? Hardworking. So when the parent sense that need help, then better seek help from expert. I mean, you like seeing a doctor like that, right? I mean, when you sense that something is wrong and we don't know what's the cause, we better go and find someone who can help you solve the problem. So from someone who hate math and then trying to, of course, to talk non-stop about math is a very high level. The arrangement, the achievement is very high level. From I hate math to I like math to suddenly talk, can't stop. That one will be, of course, the kind of thing that he start to score A. He start to see the kind of value that math. He start to like the subject. I mean, there will always be some favorite subjects for some students. Some students will like literature better. Some students will like history better. Some students just naturally like math better. Yeah. So make them like math. That is a very big challenge for a lot of teachers and parents. So we will try, but like I said, the parent support, the guidance that the student receive, and of course these two will then result in good results. Then the good result will so-called feed itself into this positive loop. Yeah, not spiral down. Positive loop going up. That they start to like, and then they start to score well. They start to talk non-stop.
Yeah, it's a positive loop. I think you put it the best
Actually,
way.
I have the best example, and that will be myself.
I
I didn't.
Explain.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I mean, who is born to do math? Nobody is born to do math. Some people are born genius, no doubt, but not everybody. That doesn't mean you need to be born a genius to like math, to like to like me now. I like to teach young minds math. Yeah, I mean, I don't grow up liking math. Yeah, I don't have a lot of parental support in the sense that my parents cannot support me academically, but they are there. I just know they're there. But when I tell them my math problem, they can't help me. My parents are not so well educated. So what tipped me over, right? Yeah, there must be something. I try to figure out what tipped me over. Is my own teacher. And of course, eventually is the result I got. Like I shared with you before, is the result. Once I start to score well, I go like, hey, I can do this. Let me try to do the next chapter. I can do that too. And it just spiral upwards and just get better and more. I'm more interested. I read more. And then there you go. I end up taking a master's on math, and I start to read math book and listen to math book. Even my daughter was like, why are you even listening to books that are dealing with math? I was like, look, I can't read. We have no time to read, so I listen when I'm driving. So I was like, but oh my god, don't you listen to storybooks? But yeah, so you know what I mean. So yeah, I think I mean I'm an example myself. I'm also trying very hard to see how you can use this formula on everyone else.
Wow. Okay. So we come to the end of the podcast. So as per usual, for those who enjoy, found value, please do comment down below. I think it does give us some encouragement now. I at least know that we are on the right path, right? Please do like, subscribe, and follow our socials. We are on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. You can find all of our links and profiles down in the description below. Okay. So that's all for now. See you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye bye.